All right, my Dominican people, let me say a pleasant good evening. Wherever you are this time, it's always a pleasure to welcome you to this space each and every Saturday. Just around that time, 5 minutes past that hour of 6 o'clock. I thank you for tuning in, always making time off your Sunday or your Saturday rather, your Saturday schedule, and also Sunday as well, because we are here at 6 on Sunday as well. But with a little twist in programming, much on a, more civilized note, I should say, because the name of the program is Civic Vibes, On a Saturday, we more go toe-to-toe, as it were, with the issues that are affecting us in Dominica. And so, yours truly always come out for battle on a Saturday evening. And I know you guys are as well. Last week around that time was the 19th. Yes, the 19th. Today is the 26th of August. Last week we had some serious rain, some serious waters, people. And so what a difference a week make. A matter of fact, what a difference a day make where the weather is concerned in Dominica. And so this afternoon it is hot. I can tell you, very, very hot indeed. A matter of fact, for the past few days, it have been extremely hot. For those persons who are affected by that heat, especially in the evenings, I see with you folks, because it is very, very hot lately. But we have to do what we have to do. And talking about heat, there is a particular subject matter we will be touching on sometime later that has to do with heat and high levels of temperature in Dominica, and in particular where a specific company is concerned in Dominica. All right, but we'll be touching on that nonetheless in just a while. As I said, I'm happy to have you around. Today is the 26th of August 2023, and it's a very good day, although it is a bit hot. All right, but it's good to have you folks around. Thank you for tuning in. What I ask of you now, people, is that share the live as we moving on here. Please share the live. Let someone know that that program is on, and so they too can partake of that program here this evening. You can call into the program, people. That is technology. That is technology. For whilst I'm live, if you want your voice to go through, you could call me right here on my number. That is 245-2396. Everybody should have my number by now. And you can interact live or say something live to the outside world or whoever is listening and watching at this time. That is what technology affords us to do of late, okay? So we thank the technological advancements in that we could speak not just to our people around us directly, but we could speak to the wider community, okay? Also too, I'll be looking into a YouTube channel in just a bit so that we'll have more options in terms of viewership and also listenership. All right. Just before I go to the live feed, that is the thing I always do, to call your names, because I always truly cherish the company that we share each and every Saturday, and that is the time for that kind of engagement. And so I normally call your names, those of you who I can see under the live feed. I know some of you are just there. I cannot see your name, but I know you are there and taking in information nonetheless. Thank you for being part and parcel of the audience as well. But there's a special grouping of people of late I've been compiling. And it is the people, in my humble opinion, that have been making significant contributions on social media, especially where our country, Dominica, is concerned. And so if your name is not part and parcel of that list as yet, and you are on social media doing your thing for Dominica, just please alert me, and I will be honored to have your name included on that list. But persons like Thaddeus James, good evening to you, my bro. Tad is doing a very good job on social media, talking about Dominica each and ever so often. Thank you, Tad, for your contributions. We also have a young lady in the name of Umisia Vigil. Young lady who lives in the north of Dominica. Very passionate, very constructive on social media. She calls it as it is. And so as a young person, I looked at her, and I'm always following her And so, Miss Vigil, continue to do what you do for your Dominica and your children in particular, okay? Because at the end of the day, what you do, what I do, it is not for us primarily, it is for our children's benefit to come, okay? We also have on social media with Margaret Wallace. All of us should know Margaret by now. Margaret is always there. I normally ask myself whenever I see Margaret on a live, I normally ask myself, but where is this young lady getting that energy from? She's always there pushing the positive vibes. And so Margaret, you know, thank you for doing that for on behalf of Dominica. I also have this brother, Dr. Dale Dangleben, Surge Resnet on social media. He too is doing a formidable job, especially in the health department. And we'll be speaking a little health this evening. And so Brother Dale's comment and contributions on social media, it is noteworthy. And so that is why I choose tonight to big up this brother in a very, very large way. Because it is people like that, with the connections that, you know, we have on social media, that will really go a long way in enlightening a people that, you know, seems to be not enlightened thus far. All right. I also have Brother Alex Bruno on the list. The Alex doing his thing each and every Sunday as well. Something just caught my attention on the live feed there, and I smile. I wouldn't say, because that will cause too much disruption from the program, huh? But something just popped up there and I smile. Yeah, Alex Bruno Powell, yeah, my brother, good evening to you, and continue to do what you do for Dominic as well. I also have Brother Viva Mamu. Yes, Viva Mamu. A lot of persons wondering who is Viva Mamu. I don't know if it's a Mr. or Mam, but whoever you are, Viva Mamu, a social media guru, always pushing out stuff, always going through the archives and letting us remember things that we may have forgotten. So Viva Mamu, thank you very, very much indeed, and continue to play your part. That is where you are, as they say, you are ace in the game. Nobody can do it like you, Viva, so continue doing that in your own style and fashion, all right? I also have Brother Trevor Torsey Johnson. Yes, of late, Trevor, have been on the ball on social media, pushing the messages as well. Trevor, your work is noted, and continue to do that kind of work for Dominica, my brother, all right, as you alone can. I also have here a group, calls themselves the Moon Serie Group. For those of you who cannot speak Patois, that is the group in Dominica known as the serious people in Dominica. They are always on social media, especially on a Monday evening, I think from what time? 8 o'clock, about there. And so you can check them out, you know. The more upfront brothers, they say it as it is. So Moon Serie, Sesame Street, big up yourself one time. Continue to do that kind of work as well, all right, for Dominica. I also have another formidable brother here as well on social media. He normally slips me sometime, but that is why I had to write his name this evening. None other than Mr. Licks. Mr. Licks is an ace as it pertains to what he does on social media, all right? So, brother Mr. Licks, you too, you have been doing a formidable job, a large following. Persons listen to you, especially the young persons, where that change will start. So continue to do that kind of work, brother Mr. Licks, all right? This brother, he always does it in his own way. All right, so continue. There are others as well. And so all of you who continue to do that work, thank you very much for your passionate contribution to country. All right, so now that I've ran through that list, as I said, if I did not call your name and you're a social media, you know, outspoken person out there, please get in contact with me and we can have your name plugged in on that list, because work like that should never go unnoticed, all right? Now, for the 100+ persons of you that are there, let me see how quick now I can run through the names of you guys here on my phone so that we can start that all-important conversation going, all right? Clara Lynn Warrington says, every day the heat is on. And before I go through the names, people, let me just put up a small disclaimer here. There are some persons' names who I maybe sometimes don't pronounce properly, because some of your names are, you know, all over the place in terms of how you choose to be called on social media. If I don't pronounce your name properly, it's not my fault, all right? So as two persons did last week, and I met one at the protest that UWP organized, the lady told me, Lofty, it's not Verni Vache, it is Verni Vache. All right, so Verni Vache, good evening to you, my friend. You know yourself. I hope you're under the live tonight. And another one, I was saying Tize. The lady told me not Tize. It's Tizie, meaning little eyes. So, you know, again, the disclaimer is up. All right, Joel Francis, good evening. Indira Telemark, Teresa Susanna Rule, you're there as well. Christine Nicholas, good evening. Norris Charles, Dave Butran, that is Dave Butran. Another formidable brother as well who's pushing the stuff. Dave, I think your name needs to be on that list as well. So I'll do that after. Joan Bernard James is there. Good evening to you as well, Joan. Ahmed Fontaine, Strathmore Edwards, Justina James, Patricia Fontaine, Noeline Privot, Conrad Vacher. I hope I have that one right. That one is V-A-C-H-E-R. Vacher, Conrad Vacher. Donnell George, Jarrell Joseph, Kendra Alexis is listening and watching as well. Good evening to you, Kendra. Send me some info as to the elections in Zimbabwe as the results are coming in. Most likely, maybe another stolen election in Zimbabwe, but we'll touch on that just a bit before we get going here, all right? We also have Lauren Lestrade, Ragadu, Agadu, Devin Joseph, Anthea George, Gilbert Signoret, Clyde Gregoire, Jane Bernard, that is Jane Bernard, Stephanie John Baptist, Michael Polak, right? Michael Polak says good evening as well. Ollie Lawrence, good evening both. Okay, Michael Polak is bigging up his brothers here. In the UK at this time, it is what, 5 hours ahead, 8, 9, 10, 11, it's about 11 o'clock in the UK at this time, just after 11, and so these brothers, they are up listening to the program. So Michael Polak, good evening to you and your buddies in the UK at this time. I also have another buddy from Salisbury. What's her name now? Always tuned in as well. The name doesn't come to mind now. Anyway, Petra Carbon George, you're there. Aura Burton, Silus Pierre, Bibiana Hilton, Letitia Mills, Julie Polidor, Norris Charles. Brother Norris Charles, good evening to you as well. Brother Norris Charles is saying that I'm watching and listening with interest. That is a brother who ran and won the Roseau Valley constituency once upon a time and did a very good job for the people of that constituency. So brother Norris, good evening to you. Ollie Lawrence now is writing, Michael Polak, good evening, sir. So there's this convo back and forth between Michael Polak and brother Lawrence, yes? Annie Edwards, you're there. Addie John, Alistair Irish says, wow. As to what that wow about Irish, please punch why that wow. Jarrell Joseph says, my mom and dad is Dominica. I consider myself Dominican by blood. Well, Jarrell Joseph, thank you for your utterances here. We also have, what's that, Milka, yes? Milka Samuel. October's very own Tora Brady, Sandra John Baptiste, Daphne Euseb, Tessa John Baptiste, Saran John Jules, Magdalene Augustine, yes, Dave Butran, I call you already, Dei Jojo, that's another person that is always in tune to Civic Vibes and as well Saturday Live Engagement. Good evening to you, Dei. Magdalene Augustine. Who else we missing here? Mayan Taverny Morley. We also have Niska Alfred, Curlin Sanders, Victor James, Wayne Blanc, Rosa Robinson. We also have Velma Joseph. All right, big up as well, Velma Joseph. Good evening to you. Madeline Augustine. Who else? Carol, Jules Matthew. You're also there, brother Owen Prosper. Julie Polidor, Kevin Charles, Lydia Harrison, Gwyneth Latouche, Margaret Wallace, I taught you already, Margaret, good evening to you. Ramona St. Rose, good evening to you, Ramona, and your family in the Bath Estate area. Deborah Jules, one goes by the name of Tic Tac. Tic Tac says, let the fight for freedom continue. I agree with you 120%, bro. Cyrilia, Celestine, Gertrude Abraham Dejean, good evening to you as well, Gertrude. Deli Spence, Ina, Scotland, says that she's locked in the USVI, good evening to you. Agado, Agado, that's my brother here, says only a concerted revolution can solve these political problems. Louis Francis, Gwyneth Latouche, Deborah Jules, Le Petit Paradis, that is my folks up in Wharton Weaven. Good evening to you in a very special way, you people up there. Rhea Morris, Jefferson Winston, Addie John, Jennifer Christmas James, Wendy Williams, Diana Abraham, yes, Cyrilla Celestine, I think I called that name already. Ollie, yes, Ollie Lawrence is just confirming what I told you guys a while. It's 11:20 p.m. in the UK at this time, and these brothers, they're up listening to the program. Emmanuel, good evening to you. Adeline Shillingford as well. Dana Philbert Peterson, Bertil Birmingham, Clint Rule, Chiquito Thomas. Chiquito, I saw you live this week, and the information that you dispense went down very, very well, so keep up that work as well, bro. Alistair Irish says here, make sure you touch on price control, $13 for a large corned beef. So I guess that's what you said wow about Irish earlier. I don't have price control as a line item here tonight, but for sure that is a situation that affects all in Dominica. So we have been speaking about that, but maybe we'll make some time in the future for that. All right, brother Irish? But things are really, really sky high in Dominica at this time, especially the basic commodities we're speaking about. Okay? As Brother Peter said in song, the poor man feel it. And in Dominica, those statements are very, very true indeed. Bernard Ulysses, you're there. Bertil Birmingham, Sharim Lazar, you're there as well. Let me see who else that is there. Al Charles, Unfiltered Diasporas, Eliza Louis Gomes, Ian St. Murray, Indira Telemark, good evening to you, Indira. Oh, Eufeli Vidal, that is the name I wanted to remember a while ago. Eufeli Vidal, that is my friend from Salisbury, but she's up in the UK at this time. And she says, yes, Lofty, I'm here. It's after 11. So thanks for spending the time, Eufeli. Celia Douglas, Lucia Xavier Wright, John Alfred, Kerry Lockhart Savage, Ethel Bellot Joseph, Al Charles, Ronald Bernard, Jacqueline Joanna James, Alex Teat, Roxas Benoit JB, Alex Teat, Georgette Henry, Carol Dodds, Randy Turney, brother Randy Turney, long time to see, long time to hear. Thanks for being here. Brother Carlos Charles is saying big up Lofty Duran. Carlos, good evening to you as well, and thanks for service to country each and every time you and your brother Alex goes live. All right. Harold Vidal, Caswolf Blaise Branis, Mary Benjamin, Silma Giss, watching from the UK as well. That is what Giss is saying here. Robin Melber Donna, yes, Robin Melber Donna. Lofty Clint Rule is another patriot from Wesley. Well, I will take that. I'll take that name. Yes, I believe his name can go on that list. Clint Rule. Thanks, Donna, for that reminder. Color Guy is watching as well. Who else we have here? Some place is $14 a large corned beef. That is Velma Joseph saying that here. Agreeing with Brother Irish a while ago. Tic Tac says 13 is not bad. It's about $5 in the US. So that's a discussion we have here about price and price control. Joseph Parilo, good evening to you. Annie Abraham Francis, Nalda Bruman George, Hodge Berridge, Ian St. Marie. Who else I haven't called here? I know there are many, many more names, but folks, in the interest of time, we really and truly have to move on. All right? 180 something plus persons there already. The program is packed as always, and so we have to move. But as I always keep saying, I cherish your company. All right? It's a conversation that we normally have among ourselves as countrymen and countrywomen. All right? Where am I taking you guys this evening? Just where? Just before we go into our local matters, just touching on some international matters now. If you did not know, then you choose not, or you chose not to know, that there was the fourth indictment of Brother Trump in America this week. Wednesday, he turned in himself to the Georgia court system. He and 18 others charged for election, whatever it is in America, the last election. And so that is a situation that even we in Dominica, we must pay close attention to, all right? So for the fourth time, Donald J. Trump was indicted by the court system in Georgia for this claiming that he tried to overturn the 2016, it was 2016 in 2023, no, 2020, sorry, he came in 16, so it's 20, all right, 20 elections. And so that is a case that is pending over the head of Donald Trump and his 18 other co-conspirators, as they are called, and we will see where that goes. Apart from that, 3 more previously, but Trump is still very much have a very wide margin in terms of lead, where the Republican base now is concerned, as the preferred nominee for the next general elections in America. And so we will be watching a bated breath in Dominica as to how that pans out. And I will leave that there, because I really don't want our conversation now to be, to go in another direction as to the politics of America, okay? I just touched on that in terms of international news that happened this week. Also in international matters as well, well, I think the votes are still being verified or counted as we speak. In Zimbabwe, there was an election held where a young challenger, young, vibrant challenger in the name of Nelson Chamisa, this brother, I can tell you, he's very inspirational, motivates his people, but based on initial results so far, maybe, as one of my colleagues told me a while ago, after we are looking maybe at another stolen election in Zimbabwe, where Mr. Chamisa was denied getting into that seat of the Zimbabwe's presidency. And so we will, have again to wait and look to see how that one pans out as well. All right. It depends on who you speak to. Some persons love Chamisa to death. Some persons love the incumbent president to death. So at the end of the day, it is what it is. What I just read before I came here, I was reading that the Mali Ostri, I didn't call you. I just saw your logo up there. Mali Ostri is another faithful follower. Mali, good evening to you. Where was I? The Zimbabwe's election. It depends on who you speak to. But the Zimbabwe police, they are all in riot gears with the tear gas, waiting, and rounds or whatever it is, waiting, because the situation up there politically, it is very, very tense indeed. All right, but at least we still want to open our hearts in terms of keeping Zimbabweans in our prayers at this time. I have to reach out to my brother in Zimbabwe to just find out how he's doing, because I met him sometime in the US and we had a very close relationship when we were in the US. And so I have to touch base with him just to see how he's, going up there, especially as the situation is very, very tense politically speaking. All right. So that is it in terms of the international front, just a touch there. Nothing much on the regional aspect of things, based on the last time I checked. So let us come down to our local matters now in Dominica, which I know most of, if not all of you guys are waiting for. Where am I taking you guys this evening? First and foremost, straight off the bat, I read something that the utility company in Dominica, Domlec, put out there in terms of a post. And part of that post read, capacity management. So Domlec basically is putting its customers like myself on note that the company has been and is undergoing some mode of, they are in capacity management mode. And for those of us who are in Dominica, we have been feeling the effects of that statement from Domlec, and I will be breaking it down to you as to how I know it, in terms of me asking the relevant questions to persons who are in the know, both in and out of Domlec, because I think some persons are still in the dark, where during the course of this week, well, this week it really went overboard. Last week it started, most persons didn't take note, but this week we had some serious outages across the country at different times. And so in our local palace, in our local language, we call it load shedding. But Domlec as a company chose to call it capacity management. All right, so I'll be touching on that to just give us some kind of information as to maybe what is happening there and what we may be staring down as a country now, as citizens of Dominica, maybe in the not too distant future where electricity is concerned. All right, so that is one on the agenda. On the agenda as well for tonight, we heard about a very unfortunate, I don't want to say untimely, but I guess his relatives can say that. But in terms of time, only the good Lord can deal with that aspect of it. But it was very unfortunate in terms of that brother passing when he reached at our hospital in Roseau. That is a brother that came here, I'm being told, to attend to a funeral service of a relative of his in the Marigot area, and whilst riding his bike along the Wesley route, then he got into some sort of accident and he succumbed thereafter. So that we will be getting into as it pertains to, again, let me qualify the healthcare system in Dominica, the very poor healthcare system that we have in Dominica. Very, very poor. And whenever I use adjectives, I use them intentionally, because as they say, is he who is in the kitchen, that person that is feeling the heat. And so is whenever any one of us, Dominicans or visitors alike, have any situation to be part and parcel of the healthcare system in terms of care, that is where now we are understanding how poor that system is. So we'll be getting into that in just a while. Dominicans, what I can tell you as well, our young people in Dominica, by and large, they are fed up with the system in Dominica. Again, I want to repeat, the young people of Dominica, they are basically fed up by and large. And the young people are basically prepared to take a stand. And so all I can tell you guys is keep your eyes and ears glued to the ground as to the impact that the young people, the more youthful segment of the Dominican society will be making in the not so distant future, and it will resonate in Dominica very much, and it will impact us for a very long time. Keep the young people, Dominicans rather, in mind. They are the future, we say, and so the future will be speaking how the future alone can speak, and that is the young people. I also want to put you guys on note as well that there is this pending report from a very reputable, I may be now sounding like a broken record, and so some of you may be saying, but Lofty, every Saturday you come there, you're telling us that same thing, and you keep pushing back the date. Well, it is not me. Okay, it is not me. That is out of my jurisdiction, out of my domain, out of my. If it was from me alone, maybe you would have gotten it already. But I am not so thorough as these people who are putting that together. And so there's a pending report on the mismanagement of our CBI program in Dominica. That report will be out pretty soon. All right? It was supposed to be out at least somewhere in December, mid-December, not December, sorry, September. But I'm being told now at least it has been pushed back for yet another 2 weeks, around September month end. It should be on our doorsteps in Dominica, and trust me, some heads will roll and some jaws will be dropped in Dominica. That is as much as I can tell you for now. All right? Please look out for that. The meat of tonight's discussion, the bulk, the chunk of tonight's discussion, ladies and gentlemen, we're going back in time, because sometimes it is always good to go back to have an idea where we want to go or where we're going. And I keep telling us, especially on these live engagements that we have with each other, that the 2009 general election in Dominica, it was a very pivotal time in Dominica as to where we are now. So basically, in my mind, we are reaping some of the fruits that we sowed all the way back then in 2009. And so I'm going to show you today with digits, with numbers, with data, what I have been talking about. So please stay tuned for that. That for sure will captivate your interest for some time. And so when we say in Dominica, elections have been stolen by the Dominica Labour Party government, or what passes for government, the numbers will show you. And I vividly remember, people, it was from 2009 and then on that that block of voters from the overseas department, Dominicans who live overseas now, it was from 2009, if memory serves me right, that we heard that kind of talk, that kind of, manipulation setting in our system. And so that is why I said before that why we are where we are today, some seeds were sown back then, and we are reaping the rewards today. And so I'll be showing you guys with numbers, not my numbers, with the numbers of the electoral office in Dominica, why I am saying that each and every time. Okay? We will make that case this afternoon, or this evening rather. Okay, Dominicans, those of you who have to take a little breather, you can do it now. It is 20 minutes to 7 already. If you want to take a drink of water, if you want to go use the bathroom, please do that now, because we are about to take flight in just a bit. And when we take flight, then it is not easy for us to stop. So I'll be giving you 2-3 minutes just to do that whilst I do this, and then we will be right back with the program in just a bit. All right? So that is your time, people. 2 minutes. Okay, let's take this one from Brother Dice back to country for about 2 minutes.
Citizens, as and souls, before God, before land, before church, before
Brother Dice, thank you very, very much indeed. We are harvesting poverty now as it pertains to our misplaced loyalty, as Dice said in song some time back. Okay, Dominicans, let's go. We got up to the news on Monday gone, of a brother coming back to Dominica to help bury a relative of his in the Marigot area. That brother, I'm being told, had his bike, and he jumped on his bike and was riding through the Wesley area just about 3 o'clock, 3:30 on Monday, where it is said that a hump in the road, meaning a speed bump, some people call it a sleeping police, constructed by the Chinese who are in Dominica, that are charged with the responsibility to build that proposed international airport. They, I'm being told, were the ones who brought about that speed bump in the road. That speed bump in the road, people, based on my going to Wesley and seeing the situation firsthand, that speed bump, it is not properly demarcated. That is the first point that I want to say straight off the bat. A speed bump, it is basically a situation in the road that calls or should call someone's to attention, because it is basically a bump, a hump. It is not the smooth sailing like the other parts of that road. And there's a reason for it, is for you to slow down. But if that speed bump is not properly demarcated, meaning the lightings, the signage, the markings, whatever it is that's supposed to go with a speed bump, then what happened in Wesley will continue to happen. And it seems as if with the importation of the Chinese in Dominica, and then the government of Dominica and some of the subsidiary agents or agencies of government, they are basically handicapped. Because for some time, these people just have the Chinese having their way. And so when I went myself to see the speed bump that this brother found his death on, it is worth noting that that speed hump, it was not properly demarcated. So this brother wasn't living in Wesley, living in Marigot, to have at least noticed a speed bump that had been constructed by the police. That is one. He came in from foreign, so he was a foreigner. And so the safety measure that should go into a situation like that should not only be for Dominicans, it should be for foreigners as well, or persons who visit in Dominica for some time. So that is one situation that needs correcting. As to who is going to correct that, the people alone can. The people alone can. So the speed bumps up there, they need proper signage. They need some lighting, some reflectors, something to indicate to oncoming traffic or even pedestrians alike that, hey, that is where you should slow down. Apart from that, on top of that, the speed bump in question was very, very dirty. Because when things happen, I like St. Thomas in the Bible. I like to go and see for myself. I don't want nobody to tell me. I went to Wesley and I scrutinized the area that the brother had that accident. And the speed bump itself, when these heavy trucks carrying their load, this red dirt, and they reach on that speed bump and they go up and they go down, these dirt, they are not covered. It is not covered. And so some of those mud, some of this red clay dirt, they get their way off the truck and fall on the road, on the asphalt, and some of them on the speed bump. Now, you know, for the past week, as I said, we had torrential waters in Dominica. And this kind of soil up there in that area, the topsoil is okay. You can work with the topsoil in terms of, you know, not to slide in. But when you get down to a certain level, to a certain depth, you meet that, you know, sort of red, orangish, clayish material. It doesn't have to be on a speed bump for you to fall on that. It can be on a straight road, flat road. That is how sliding that thing can be, especially when water is applied to it. So I wasn't there. I don't know what happened to the brother in terms of he not seeing or he not acknowledging. But that speed bump and that dirt on there, that excess dirt on there, which the Chinese now are not making a way to clear it quick enough, just in case it falls off the truck, which it always falls off the truck. You guys need to go to Wesley. Those of you in Dominica, go to Wesley and see the condition of the road in Wesley. A matter of fact, the villagers, I remember Steve Benjamin to be precise. Cyrilia, you need to do something with your volume. I'm only getting that feedback from you alone, and I'm speaking to the top of my voice, and there's a mic right here to project that voice of mine much more. So your device is something is wrong. So rectify it, all right? Yeah, they need to put some kind of mechanism in place. Employ more people, whatever it is that they have to do. Pass and hose down the road ever so often, you know, because it's an airport that is being constructed, they say. And so you have to put all these contingencies in place. And poor this brother got himself into that very unfortunate accident and ended up dead in the process. Who do you blame for that? Where does the family of this brother seek redress? Where do they go? Should he just be a statistic now? I'm saying no. Now, let me parallel that now to the brother got into that accident. Very unfortunate that is. But here it is. Here it is now. The healthcare system that our brother McIntyre boasted about so much a month or so back, about it being second to none, it being compared to any first-class system in the world. An ambulance that had to come to pick up this brother on site in Wesley had to come all the way from Castle Bruce, I'm being told. This brother found his unfortunate demise in Wesley. You have Marigot, the next village, the next door neighbors, it were right there, with a supposedly newly built, newly constructed hospital. As to what is taking that hospital to open, I don't know. But a building is there. And the people of Marigot and surrounding communities have to continue to suffer because of a hospital is not opened in Marigot and functioning so that the people could benefit. When they alerted Marigot, nothing, no carry, as they say. No ambulance to come to attend. The closest ambulance was found in Castle Bruce. That is some miles off. Some miles off. I'm seeing a conversation going under the life of the people. Please, that is not the conversation we're having now. We are not talking about American politics now. And that is why I really did not want to go down there. Because I know politics and religion, these are two divisive things. And it is so easy to be swayed away or be sidetracked from the matter at heart. So those of you who have that back and forth, you know, with the American politics and Trump and just let's refocus, please. That is not the setting for that now. We may have one, but that is not for it. All right. So I just ask of you guys very humbly, that is. Let's change the narrative. Castle Bruce, an ambulance had to come out to attend to this brother. Castle Bruce. It took this brother half hour plus on the ground in pain, excruciating pain, before an ambulance could come to assist him. And when the ambulance came, like all ambulance normally come in Dominica, there's no paramedics on board. There's nobody on board the ambulance to help. Basically, the fire officers put you there and they are paid to give you, in my mind I am saying, a ride to the nearest health facility. That is what it is. That is, in my opinion, that's what it is. So they take you, they put you on a stretcher, they strap you, put you on a stretcher, push you at the back of that ambulance, and then you're given a ride to the nearest hospital. And as you know, in any accident situation, time is of the essence. All right, time is of the essence. Now you think it would stop there. After this unfortunate accident, after this brother had to wait for half an hour in blood, ambulance come, half an hour on the scene, the brother basically got onto that ambulance, and they tried to head him down to Roseau. Heading him down to Roseau, or in trying to get him to Roseau, then there's a brother there. What's his name? I just blocked him. Oliver Later, he's becoming a nuisance under the life. So I blocked him, and so you'll not be seeing any comments from brother Later anymore. All right. You always have people, when a discussion of note is happening, there are always people who want to come and sidetrack or detract or throw you off course. And so that is not the time for that. You can ask a question, you can suggest something, but that constant nagging back and forth like many skirts, nah, we can't deal with that here. So that is not the time for that, brother Later. So go somewhere else where you are welcome, not here. The ambulance, I'm being told, even trying to get this brother to Roseau now, had difficulty. So you see where we're in Dominica, people. An ambulance that's supposed to be in tip-top shape, moving at a call, in perfect order. That ambulance picked up this brother in blood, in pain, trying to get him to, not Marigot, to Roseau. I am being told, I'll not go into details now, but it had some mechanical issue. And it had to stop. So imagine you have a brother in blood, in pain, and the ambulance stopping because of some mechanical issue. As I said before, who is responsible for this man's death? Just who? The brother gets to the hospital now in Roseau, and his distress, by no stretch of the imagination, has ended or is ended. Basically, when you come there, it is, I am saying again, that hospital in Roseau called the PMH, which was unofficially changed to the China Friendship, whatever it is. To me, those are my words, people, because that is the experience there. It is the extension of the morgue. The morgue is to the north of the hospital is to the south, just about there. That is where they keep the dead bodies, in the morgue. And me, based on what I am seeing and hearing, I know the building, the nicely painted building that has leaks like a strainer when it rains. Patients have to be moving beds, nurses under pressure, no medication, no swabs, nothing. That building is an extension of the morgue. So when you go there, some persons say 50-50. I am saying 70-30. You come out alive. And it doesn't have to be for anything critical or anything crucial. Because health is so fragile. The least mistake you make, you can be counted out. And if everybody that goes into that hospital tells you that they have to send their family to buy medication for them whilst on a bed, just taking a rest, you have to wonder what is happening. The basics of stuff that a hospital is supposed to be providing in terms of health care, medication, they don't have it. And I don't know how some Dominicans will get it in their cranium. I don't know. But it is only when your relative or you end up there, you will understand what I'm saying. You will understand what the Dominica people say. And so I am not happy. I am not joyful over anybody reaching that hospital, because I know it is. But I must say, I must be true to my conscience now. Some of you who have been supporting that level of madness in this country or what passes for governance or government, some of you have to feel it to know it. And I make no apology for that, because my old granny said, it rings in my head still, who doesn't hear will feel. So when you're hearing people talking about the hospital to have this, the hospital to have that, nurses running, doctors under pressure, the language barrier is a problem up there. You don't know who come in, who go in. You are like a fish out of water in the hospital. A health minister saying this, the reality is a totally different thing. Some of you have to feel it to know it. And when you feel it, then you will have no choice but to agree that, hey, what these guys have been saying, it is true, because I'm now living the experience. Dr. Dale saying there's no trauma alert mechanism in Dominica. So even if you have a trauma, there is no surgeon on call anywhere on the island. And it's so true. Dr. Dale keeps repeating that over and over and over again. The man is like a broken record, saying that thing and not an attempt to put that in place. Not even an attempt. Some Dominicans, I get very, very irritated if you guys sometimes, as Dominicans, when you guys choose to see color over your health, see color over your economy, see color over your livelihood. And that is how foolish some of you can be. Anybody that has the power over my life to decide on a price tag that I pay for an item, or to decide whatever it is I buy, the price that go thereof, or the price that is tagged to that item. Anybody that has the power over my life to make laws so that I be subjugated to those laws, you have to hold these people accountable. But some of you, when you see your pal reps, you are like, it's like a God you see, you know. You forget You forget everything that is normal. And you stick your head into your pal rep, wherever it is. And it's like as though he or she can do no wrong. And it is these people that's supposed to be speaking for you. These people are supposed to be speaking on your behalf to make things right. They are not doing that. And you keep supporting them. You keep giving them a buy. You keep giving them a pass. Every time. And I'm not even prepared to say you're in the same situation. You're in a worse situation every time. Because from 2000 then to now, we have regressed, and regressed as a country. Dominica, I know, nobody had to tell me, was one of the system, was one of the countries in the region as a beacon in our healthcare system. Now where we are. Where are we now? Where are we now? And you have a man telling you, when he falls sick, and his children fall sick, and his family falls sick, they can fly them out. And you guys clapping in your drunken stupor. You guys are clapping to your demise. And so I ask, like Lumumba, who have bewitched you people? There's absolutely nothing happening at the hospital. Nothing. And if a system cannot cater for its people's health, then there shall be no wealth. Because these two go hand in hand. Period. And so that is why we are where we are, in that very decadent state now economically. Because our people are so unhealthy. They can't work. They can't produce. And even whilst producing, if a situation arises that they have to get some health care done, then it's either out of the country or you out from this life. You have very little options. People call me every day. Lofty, I go in the hospital there. Boy, my father have to buy paracetamol, have to go buy Jollies, have to go buy Young Bull, have to go buy pharmacy. Paracetamol. Oh my, they recommend some vitamins, they recommend some blood, whatever, enhancer, what, oh we are, it's like, what is it? What is it? Imagine a man bleeding profusely on a ward, and nurses have to be fighting with each other as to how many gauze they should use on that man that is bleeding so profusely. Because why? There's not much gauze. For those of you who don't know, gauze is this little, how you call it? Dr. Delil know the medical term for it. I'm not no medical man. It's the thing you wrap up the blood and you seal up the wound and you can soak up a lot of, yeah. They're telling you they don't have plenty of that. They don't have enough of that. So don't use too much. I can only give you 3, I can only give you 4. And we sit down there as a people and supporting that. Oh, because my party is in power. And it gets so ludicrous now. Some of your relatives will die in the hospital because of that malcare. And you guys will come up with all phony excuses and say, oh, it was their time. The French people doesn't say it was their time. If it's your time, it's your time. But that is not the French people's first MO. No. That is not the first MO for the Americans. That is not the first MO for people in Canada. That is not the first MO for people even in another region. Go Antigua. Go Antigua, people. I was there lately. All kind of surgeries happening in Antigua. Go and look at the hospitals over there. and come back and tell me. St. Lucia. So whilst this man rubbing shoulders with these other leaders, they are basically just watching him as a fool. They are basically watching him as a fool. Because if you cannot deal with your people's health in a way to help alleviate their plight, then what else? What else can you do? If you cannot deal with health, you can deal with an economy. To be innovative? No. People going up at the hospital, one toe is whatever infected, if whatever it is, whatever medical term, and your whole foot, they want to cut. Because why? No medication. If you cannot be flown out, then that thing gets worse and worse and worse and worse. A young lady loses her whole hip. A whole hip. Because why? She had this foot infection that started all the way down there. Because of, it's just sick. I am praying to the Almighty Father every day, people. Every day. That He gives me the strength, the health to go with it. And that I don't end up there. Because that may just be the end of I. And so any one of you guys out there now listening to my voice, if you haven't done that yet, please try to get some medical insurance ASAP. Well, not even that can save you, but at least that is an option. Because to get you out, even if you have insurance, is another debacle. Because I'm being told the brother had some insurance as well. But to get him out from that system, it was a struggle. But at least that's an option. It's not good, people. And I don't know how much I can tell my people that again, for my people to understand in the country that we're living. I really don't know. I really don't know. Anything you go in that hospital with, it is a drama. This place is so politically polarized. You'll wonder what is happening. What is happening? Square pegs in round holes in square pegs, or whatever it is. In the healthcare system. I'm also being apprised of a situation in the hospital as well. But I have to do some more digging on that to get some facts on that before I bring it out. But again, it's another situation where this political meddling in the healthcare system is an ongoing diabolic thing that is happening. You just take people from outside and plug them into position because they tell you, I support you politically. And as a repayment, you plug them in a place in the healthcare system that is not suited for them. That's how it is, people. It is sad, but it is true. Sad but true. And you have your health man, your chief health man, a medical doctor by that, talking foolishness, blatant lies about our healthcare system. If not the best, is one of the best in the world, in the region. But the evidence shows otherwise. And so, Dominicans, some of you, you can continue to sleep easy, as it were. Pay no mind until it reaches home. I don't want it to reach home, but as life would have it, some things reach home. Arlene Pierre says, these folks listen to Roosevelt Skerritt say he and his family has medical insurance and he could fly them out and they just stood there and clapped. Yes, I said that a while ago. Linda Massicott says they are comparing Dominica with other countries and is people in the country. Let me see. I think that comment alluded me eluded me a while ago. Adeline Schlingford, powerful message, Lofty. Well, Adelaide, I always speak my conscience. I cannot hide my conscience, and that's what I'm saying. So I have to see. Dave Bertrand says, Dr. Dale Dangleben is still offering his service free of charge, and they're refusing his offer. Aura Burton says, these comments, all right, so a comment of yours, but it flew away. It went to the mug you put out. All right. Winsty's Choice Spot says they need to stop watching me boo and let's face the facts, because that's the facts, you Lofty. Carla Guy says, growing up in Dominica in the 70s, healthcare was top notch. Massa, my brother from Granby, says the only wrong in Dominica is when one talks the truth. Tic Tac says they are bewitched. Jefferson says, I feel Lofty, I'm so fed up. Who else we have there? Kerry Lockhart Savage says, I remember in Cassibruce, my partner had bus 1 o'clock in the morning, and the nurse was available in less than 10 minutes. And that's what we know. So that is a testimony there, brother, of how our healthcare system used to be. Your head boss now, and it takes what? Hours for you to be attended to. That's the reality. That's the brass tacks of the situation. Who else we have here? Corbett Bully. They are men worshippers. They forgot the creator and they're worshipping the creature. It's woe unto them. Alex Tate says 2 times 2. Alex, break that down for me, please. I don't know what 2 times 2 mean. Mary Jo says, not you, they have to call now. Mary Jo always makes some kind of comment that crack me up sometimes. Who else we have here before we go into the other subject matter? Mary Laurie writes, sorry, and all you're saying is pure facts. I hate talking to our people. I get so mad because it's like a big joke. My brother from Granby, well, not Granby, St. Martin this time, Marshall Lawrence says, it's a spirit of intimidation to have our experts and professionals come in to deliver the experience. Trauma and ENT specialists, for example. Tic Tac says we are building, sorry, get some water to clear that fruit. Out there, Rene, right? Gauze is something called cotton bandage. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Alfie, for the proper words here. The proper medical term. It's cotton bandage. Too much Spanish in the hospital and they can't even understand us. We finish in that hospital. Yeah, that is a point again. Even when this brother reached in the hospital, there was the Spanish speaking doctors, Chinese speaking doctors, you have the English nurses trying to understand what is being said, and all that time is of the essence. It's just not good. It's just not good. Celia Douglas Elas. Marina says they like it so. Who else is here? Caroline, TikTok, how? Okay, I guess Caroline is asking some of the questions. Love you making me laugh. They cut the whole foot for 1, 2. That's the reality, bro. That is the reality. I'm not lying to you. A lot of people who you see amputated in Dominica today, if you hear their story, they'll tell you it could be avoided. If they had just flown to Antigua, to St. Lucia, to anywhere in the region, it could be avoided. It could be avoided. Ask our brother Blessings. Blessings that normally call the radio ever so often. Ask Blessings a story about the hospital. They wanted to chop off Blessings' foot. But he escaped. He went to Barbados and basically they gave him some, real treatment there. He lost a couple toes, but he still have his foot. Ask Blessings. When he called the radio, ask him to call the radio one day and explain that situation to you guys. Yeah, that's a reality, people. Who else we have? Al Charles is long enough. If lasts long enough, the insurance might help. Who else we have here? A lot of comments here. Oliver Joseph says, don't you see them on Facebook? Sex is all they're talking about and everything important is a joke for them. Even Dominic cutting their lights every day becomes a joke on Facebook. I have never seen my people under those conditions like that in a lifetime. Immersive Vigil says they run away with all the good doctors and nurses. Sampi Samuel says, I don't really feel sorry for them at all. Let's link for the right. Shocking state of affairs at the China Friendship Hospital. It is very scary. Gadier Deluge writes, the man that's sitting in the chair of Prime Minister, ask him why his son come Guadeloupe Hospital instead of the hospital they're boasting about. I see him in Guadeloupe. I say them wicked. Peter Thomas, couldn't he call medical ambulance to get him out? I mean Massa. That's the medical ambulance brother Peter is talking about. Folks, the comments are coming in. Brother Dale right here. Here is a real case for Dominica. A patient broke his leg. He needed a special screw. Well, Brother Dale spoke to me about that privately. Special screw. They told him it would cost him $1,200. $12,000, sorry, dollars. The screw costs $480 in the US, which is 1,280 EC. That's criminal, Brother Dale says. Plus he will charge for OR fees, anesthesia fees, etc., etc. So apart from the poor health care, you're still getting a heavy bill to go with that. So if a screw costs under 500 US in the hospital, which works out to be just under 1,300 EC, why would you charge somebody for a procedure or whatever it is, 12,000 and change? For what? Lord have mercy. Dave Bertrand, Lofty, let's take St. Vincent, where Dr. Dale Dangleben was instrumental in setting up a well-equipped hospital. Ralph Gonzalez will not call on Skerrit because they are trying to undo each other. And the list goes on and on. I'm just trying to plug in some comments here that Alistair says, 2 weeks ago, my godmother donated paracetamol. Well, good for her. Good for Irish. Good for her. Corbett Booley writes, as my friend and cousin would say, as the ass. Cotton bandage is Curlix. Bernard Ulysses writes, whole legs may be available from the Mogupital school room. Well, I don't have whole leg now. I'm Ulysses, please. Clyde Gregoire, in the French territories, even persons that jump from buildings to commit suicide, they try to bring them back to life. If you don't have the money, they put you on social service. They even have medical asylum. If the treatment is not available in your country, you can sign up and allowed to stay and something medical. But I catch your point. Well, Gregor, you can't compare the French to Dominica. I can tell that straight up. That is like, that's not chalk and cheese. So let us leave that alone. Because the healthcare system over there is like really, really up notch. I think I spent a good hour on a program like that previously. Me being, not in hospital in the French territory, but somebody was there and I was there to see, witness for myself. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, the steps that these people take to sort of resuscitate you, bring you back to life, care for you, treat you, even after you come out of the hospital, the aftercare. So that is joke. So let's not even go there, all right? But I get your point. Dominic writes, and they're not even doing the procedure properly. These doctors in Dominica need to be investigated. Caroline Campbell says, October's very, very good point. Would be a plus for tourism as well. Lofty, my niece have a story to tell you about this hospital. Well, you can give her my number, Miss Duvini. I would be willing to listen to her story. Last comment here before we veer off. It says, Domicia Vigil says here, Gassa, that not a C-section alone is $3,005, and that's excluding hospital bills. Well, the ladies will know what that kind of cost is, especially I guess when you go and deliver your babies. All right, Dominicans, I cannot go through more, but thank you. At least you guys are right there in terms of digesting that all-important conversation. All right? This phone is going bonkers on me, so let me put it on a charge here, right? Tells me 15%. All right, cool. So we basically dealt with the healthcare system. Again, just a touch on it. There's many more stories out there, but we cannot stay whole night on it. It's already 7:20, and we have to be out there by 8 o'clock. So maybe we'll spend a little more tonight because we have that meaty conversation to just, touch upon as well. Now, let's go to Dominica people. As I said, I saw a post out there purportedly coming from Dominica where it says in part, and that's the part that caught my attention, and that's the part I want to explain to us so we can understand what is happening. Part of that statement read, Dominica is doing whatever it is, but in there, two words stuck: capacity management. In our local language, we say load shedding. We normally have those situations when, or we normally had these situations when the place was very hot before, and so because of the extreme heat, and then the equipments, the generators, even the hydro system, could not undertake that kind of pressure in terms of the extra heat. So we used to, well, not we, but Domlec used to go through that process of load shedding as before. What I'm being told now, it is still a system of load shedding that has been happening over the past week or so. But this time around, it is a little more interesting. In that, I'm being told from inside that the hydro system, as the water generated system that helps in terms of production and transmission of electricity, that system is under pressure, both in Loda and what comes down to Trafalgar area. Because why of late? The lake, I'm being told, the freshwater lake, the water level there has been dropping. And so as a result, the system up there that is set up to take in that water, to turn these turbines and do whatever it has to do to help us downstream with electricity, those systems up there are under pressure as well because of the shortage. And so that is one area, one angle that is putting a strain on the system. Added to that, I am being told as well from very reliable sources that some of the generators that Domlec as a company have in their possession, generating power, using diesel now to generate power, some of these generators are basically outdated. They have, for want of a better term, they have outlived their usefulness, as it were. And so, two of these generators, I'm being told, are not functioning at all. Now, some of these generators, they are past 30 years old. Some of them knocking 40. So you could well imagine the type of pressure that these generators have been under, and they can no longer sustain the kind of pressure that is needed. Some of the generators, they have become obsolete, meaning parts on the market, wherever they bought them, Germany, France, wherever they bought those generators from, or where these generators were made, these companies are no longer making parts for these generators that are in operation as we speak. So you have a situation where mechanical engineers and people that in the how you call it, they call these people name, they're in the lift system. They use metal and make parts and do whatever they have to do. The these generators, some of these parts has to be made, not by the original company, but by people who sort of, coming together and replacing these parts. So it's like you're doing a modified. So obviously, if a generator or if anything don't have the how you call the original parts to operate, and it is a makeshift or make do or something on its side, a MacGyver, then obviously you will get that problem, in the not too distant future. All right. So that is what the company now is facing as a result. And if you notice of late, Domlec have been putting out the notices, and for example, if they take power in the north of the island, then the south or the east or wherever will have. When they send it back in the north, then the south will go down, and so they're basically, as the phrase said, the capacity, they are managing it, because they cannot, as a company, push out to supply the entire country, the entire grid, especially when everything is at its peak. And that is the long and short of the situation that we are facing, based on me asking questions. So some of you may have been going through the shortages, or Domlec take their life. Domlec, what you doing? Domlec, what you doing? And I think Domlec as a company by now should have at least come to the nation and, explain to the people what is happening. By now, I am suggesting that. Because at the end of the day, your customer, you're paying for service. If the service is down, if the service is not up and running, there's supposed to be some kind of balancing of that equation. Because you are now depriving me from, what I'm paying for, the service that I'm paying for. So I think in the not too distant future, it would just be good customer relations to have a team of Domlec come and explain to the Dominican people exactly the situations. Because if it is a situation, it is a situation. And if you guys know of late, Dominica Electricity Services, the government of Dominica now, they are majority shareholders in that company. Emera, that company, is no longer the majority shareholder. The government is now. Surge said he's not offering any services anymore. Surge had a very good, offering. I'm privy to some of that. But again, the Dominican government always like the people to suffer. And by the way, why should we be in 2023 trying to make parts for generators now, with all the other technologies that are out there where electricity generation is concerned? Why? Just why? But again, when you don't have a very innovative government or people who are very innovative at the helm, then that is the end product, simple put. What the government or even the Domlec people will not tell you, I'm going to tell you now. And I got that from the horse's mouth. Part of the problem, part of the bigger problem that Domlec is facing as a company now, it is the loss of Ross. That's what they will not come and tell you. Now, how do we connect Ross with what we're going through there now? Ross left in when? 2017 or thereabout? Ross, I'm being told, used to pump in millions of dollars in Domlec as a company, so that Domlec was much more financially fluid to run its operation, with Ross being here on our shore. But when a lazy government, an incompetent government, would choose not to try their best to keep Ross, that pumped pretty close to $10 million a year in a company. Other than that, what they were busy behind, and when I say they, Roosevelt's character primarily, trying to buy over, get, what's his name? Isaac. The now, I don't want to qualify, Speaker of the House. Buy him over to their side, their political side. That was their goal, that was the objective. And you guys who forgot, let me bring you back memory lane. When the people at Ross, the management team, that lady came and was trying to work out things with the government after Hurricane Maria, these people never took up Ross serious. Ross ended up running from this country because of the ill treatment, and they set up shop in Barbados. Barbados. So Barbados is now enjoying the cream of the crop from Ross that we once enjoyed as a country. Imagine $10 million is pumped in your economy through a business venture, and you leave it to suffer. Hence, the people had to move out. What do you expect? What do you expect that company now, that was the beneficiary of that kind of money, will be going under now? So I'm not saying Dominica cannot buy new generators, but with the kind of cost outside there now, the people now have to pay the pinch. These generators are not cheap. They are not cheap, people. The up-to-date generators that we need, they are not cheap. And so from day to day, Dominica as a company has to be struggling now to make ends meet because of what they will not tell you, or they cannot tell you, or they choose not to tell you, as a result of the mismanagement of the country by none other than the Labour scary party government. That is it. What is Isaac adding to the economy more than what Ross added as a company? What? Just what? But like Balaam, their eyes were set on securing their political plot. That's all their eyes were set on, is to purchase Isaac for what? 30 pieces of silver. And they allowed a company like Ross, that pumped millions of dollars in the economy, a company that basically was there since Dominica's birth, as it were, where independence is concerned. You leave that to go. You never made no attempt to talk to the management of Ross and try to work along with these people. Air access or whatever they were asking for to make their lives more comfortable for them and their students. But you were hell-bent in buying, purchasing, line, hook, and sinker Joseph Isaac, to put him on your political side and now have him as the oldest speaker in the house there ever was and there ever will be. Because I'm not seeing anything coming in worse than Isaac. Trust me. I cannot fathom that. I cannot fathom that. We used to give Alex Boyd night blows. Peter Prosper even sang in song. She was an old speaker. Now, I am saying Joseph Isaac is the worst speaker that Dominica could ever pick up and put in that chair to represent the referee position on both political sides. When a speaker can open his mouth and tell you saying in Parliament, we don't sell passports. And he wants to criminalize that. He wants to criminalize anybody saying that statement. He wants to criminalize that statement. So if Joseph Isaac was Lord Alexander the Great, or Lord whatever the Great, he would have passed a decree already that says saying selling of passports is wrong, and your neck or your limbs will be cut off for that, if he was one of the kings that lived back then. That is how it is. So it's on that point and more I'm saying, we cannot go lower. We cannot. No pasa. Anything lower than Isaac, the United Nations now have to just come and declare Dominica a failed state. End of story. Anything lower than that. From a purchased minister to a purchased speaker, we can't get lower than that. This brother should be very, very disheartened by his actions. Very much so. Those of you in Dominica, take a look and you will now get an idea of the man Joseph Isaac. Take a look at the pickup truck that Joseph Isaac is now driving. A government vehicle, a GA vehicle. Take a look at that vehicle, those of you in Dominica, and come back and tell me. Just take a look at the vehicle the man is driving. A government-issued vehicle. The man of the vehicle as though well is a paper you wrap up and you're ready to throw it in the rubbish bin. All the park lights break up. All the lights falling down. It's just, I just can't understand that. So that tells you the kind of man we're dealing with. So if you can do a vehicle that you sitting down going up and down, a vehicle that was ushered to you, and you cannot take care of a vehicle, you want to take care of a country, he who is little in much will make great gain in big and better things. So if you cannot take care of a little pickup truck, I would be very, very stupid to put you in charge of a country. And so that's why I said, square pegs again in seriously wrong holes. And I make no apology for that. And the facts are there to bear me out. Go and see the vehicle driving. I don't know how it has been licensed. Because you go and license your vehicle, one park light not working. The police and them, they're ready to put you in jail for park light not working. But you have a speaker of a house. All the lights on the vehicle falling down, spread apart. Helter-skelter on the vehicle. Dominicans, let's continue. Let's continue. Because it's just sick. It's just sick what is happening in this country. Very, very sick. So, Dominica is under pressure. Dominica is under pressure. Primarily, the government allowed them to be under pressure. And added to that now, government, the same government, 51% shares. But the saving grace to that, the saving grace, there's always a saving grace, is that the IRC, that is the company that is set up in Dominica to monitor, to regulate, to scrutinize things in the interest of the customers now. Dominica just cannot go all out in terms of their bills. So there was this price increase. The IRC approved it. And then there have been numerous attempts again to increase those bills. But I'm being told the IRC folks keep saying no. Keep saying no. Whatever your problem is, you cannot, you should not pass it down to the customer. Fix your problem. And I'm saying one of the big problems in there is Ross leaving our shores. And unless and until a company can replace Ross, then we will be as a country in that dire strait. And I ask finally the people who are giving me the information to report to you whether it may just be a situation because of that pressure. There may just be a total blackout sometime in the future, because you have to look at the worst case scenario. And the person tell me, Lofty, I don't want to sound like a doom and gloom prophet, but if things are not put in place, that may just be the reality. And so whilst we are going through the little shortages, the little load shedding, the little capacity management phase, let's enjoy that whilst that lasts. Because unless things are put in place, new generators are bought, the government makes a way to inject into Dominica as a company much more funds that Ross afforded it, we will be going downstream. And we may just reach in the bushy one of those days. Yeah? Dominicans, let's go now to the final leg of the program tonight. We have 15 more minutes. I want to turn your attention now to, or remind you of the 2019 election, not 2019, sorry, 2009 general election in Dominica. That's where I want us to start. Because that, in my mind, as I said and continue to say, that election, the 2005 election, the surprising death of two prime ministers, which we don't really know what happened to them yet officially. We heard some things, but in my mind, that has not been settled. Rosie Douglas died, Pierre Charles died. And my friends, I'm not saying things don't happen. Don't take me wrong. But for two men to be in the prime of their life, quote unquote, and just evaporated like that in thin air like Kenesha, you have to wonder what transpired, what happened. And so in my mind, Rosie Douglas and Pierre Charles' death, it is still something that the country needs to factually know what happened to these prime ministers. The medical excuses that they gave, I haven't bought that. I haven't bought that. And so maybe even long after I'm gone, the answer will come and tell me the good news. Because I personally, I am always asking that the government of, not the government, the relatives of Pierre Charles and Rosie Douglas in particular, their body need to be exhumed and a proper forensic investigation go on to find out exactly what was the cause of death. They did that with this brother from, what's his name? Yasser Arafat. You remember Yasser Arafat? The Palestinian leader. What was quoted then? Something was totally different when they exhumed and they performed those investigations. And I am saying, I just mean, until and unless proper forensic outside investigation be brought about into these two men death, I'll go to my grave with the mindset that something sinister went on. That's just me. But let's continue. 2005, that election, when these two brothers passed, in my mind, as a Dominican on the ground then, I knew whoever took up the leadership of Labour Party, they would have won hands down. So if it was a child that led that party then, they would have won hands down. Because that is just people by nature. Dominicans by nature even greater that kind of sympathy and sympathetic mode. Two prime ministers back to back, we cannot allow another of our prime ministers to die. And so the whole country was in this somber, reflective mood, and it was just like sugar and ice, Anybody who took up that position then, they would have just sailed into office on the backs of two former men who died. So it was no surprise that Vince, Skerritt, and others, we have been told they fought their way. They hijacked. What's his name? Not me that's saying. I'm just re-echoing. What's his name? Bush. Matthew Walters. Matthew Walters was founder. He said in his writings, they hijacked the Dominica, the true Labour Party. They hijacked it because they knew their intentions. And we are seeing it still unfolding today. So they did whatever they had to do, and they continue to do whatever they have to do to remain there. And it's only the people, no party can delay that. The people that have to come as a collective and understand where Dominica is to delay that situation. No two ways about it. And so in 2005, Roosevelt campaigned as the leader of the party, the Labour Party. And he sailed in there, sweet sailing, no problem with that. Yeah? To solidify that base in 2009, and that's where I want to get to now. In 2009 now, these guys realize, you see that kind of democracy thing and free and fair election and everybody on a level playing field, and we can't continue that. That is gambling it. And in gambling is win or lose. They cannot afford to lose because their minds were set on how they want to go politically. And so that new mindset now, it ushered into some new ideas. And the idea now of stealing elections came in. And it's from that point, 2009, I as a Dominican, I'm here in Dominica, I can pinpoint, I can zero in on Dominica went downhill. So you now started to hear about, we don't want to disenfranchise our people in overseas. That was a plot, that was a ploy. It now started to be aired and it took root. And the course was set for one against the other. So Dominicans living here, the narrative was, we want to disenfranchise. We want to take away your right. We want to take away your vote. We want to take away this. And some of the Dominicans overseas, they bought into that narrative, line, hook, and sinker. They're still drinking it today. Somebody wicked said. Although every day the hearing people say, if you are out of state and you meet the criteria to vote, no problem. They don't hear that. It's only what the people tell them with the agenda that they're leaning towards. Yeah? Apart from we telling them, the Constitution says it in the electoral laws. If you take yourself and go outside of Dominica, you go and live your life, you go and spend your, you go and see what or whatever it is, make another life for your own, outside of the Commonwealth for 5 years plus. It's not me saying that. The regulations in our electoral law says that you're supposed to be stricken off that register. In that, what it says to the system, you're no longer interested in the system in Dominica, the electoral system, that is. You know me saying that? But they will not read that. They will not hear that. They will only hear what RS says. Oh, we want to disenfranchise them. Nobody disenfranchising you. You disenfranchise yourself in the first place. And so these Dominicans that live in overseas that come up with that kind of foolish argument. Oh, I said in barrel. What is a barrel? What is a barrel? Oh, I send in a little Western Union back home to my mother and grandmother. It is your right to take every grandmother and mother. That cannot cut it as per the Constitution. The Constitution didn't say nothing about sending barrel. But to pacify you guys, these people are using this kind of awkward, rationalities to come up with you sending a barrel. You contributing to the economy. You this, you that. If you contribute in the economy, come back here and live. Come back here and contribute. Because that is where it really is at. Don't have some of you guys out of your want and send 2 barrels where you know you could send 5. You send 1. And you want to hold that now as the holy grail against people who are suffering here and want to be bought every 4 and 5 years to come and place a government on a people's back and go back. That is cruel. That's wickedness. That is evil. And you Dominicans that continue to do that, you are no less evil than evil itself. That's what it is. So you are prepared to deny your constitution that says you disenfranchise yourself. But you are prepared to take on some phony stories. Oh, you're sending them a barrel. You're sending them Western Union and MoneyGram. You're coming back for funeral. You're coming back for when a baby born. And all kind of foolishness. That can't cut it. Let's go so I can show you what I really want to show you so we can get out of here. Let's go to statistics now. They say numbers don't lie. And that is the influence of you guys overseas. How you have tilted the elections and continue to do that in very, very selfish ways. Let me just get that up on the screen there. This one. Okay, let me just move that camera, people, so that you guys could see. You guys could see that screen that I'm gonna pull up here. All right. We'll be out of here in short. Okay, folks, you see this here? This shows the result of the 2009 general election. Okay? We're just going to go through it very briefly, lock down on certain points, and then we'll be out of here. It is 3 minutes to 8. It says here, 2009 general election results. Cassie Bruce, okay? In the Cassie Bruce constituency, that's in 2009, the Dominica Labour Party, represented by Mr. Drygo, Johnson Drygo, got 841 votes in 2009 election. Let me see if I can put up that light there so you can see that a bit better. Yeah? Good. Drygo got 841. Bernard Wilshire 686. Jacqueline Theodore 7. The difference in votes, and we will break it down in a while and come to make the case. The difference in votes between the Labour Party and the UWP in 2009 general elections was 155 votes. You subtract 686 from 841, you get 155 votes. That is how so close of a margin the votes are or were in the election in 2009. And that is why the Labour Party had no choice but to kick in a way to steal the elections from then on. Let's move on. So that was Cassie Bruce. Coliho. The margin of victory here was, to me, in my opinion, wide enough. More than what? More than 400 votes. So we will leave out Coliho. Okay? Cottage was another slam dunk, in my estimation, based on the data. 969 to 162. So we leave that out. They have no reason to steal that there. Grand Bay was another slam dunk situation. 1350, 1350 to 119. That was another blowout. We leave that there. Look now, let's come to La Plaine. La Plaine constituency now. We have Ron Green, 722. No, I think I go a little too high up for you. Right, Ron Green, 722 versus Peter Sejan, 724. So you see the margin there, people? 2 votes in La Plaine constituency that the Dominica Labour Party stole. 2 votes. Let's continue. The Maho constituency was a wide enough margin, so we leave that alone. 2146 to 1457 in favor of Labour. We leave that alone. Marigot constituency, the United Workers' Party won then. But let me pause there to just make a note there, people. You see this Marigot constituency? 835 Edison James and Dayton Baptist, 228. A difference of what? 600 votes, 600 plus. That, Kong people, have been diminishing over the years. And when next we get chance to go through those figures, you will understand the point that I'm trying to make. But leave that alone for now. But Marigot people say the city is safe in Marigot. All right? Let's leave that alone. We don't have time to digest that. Monjon, Abraham Brown, the United Workers' Party, 523. Ivor Stevenson, Labour Party, 528. That is a difference of how many votes, people? 5 votes. So you see what I'm talking about. You see what the data is showing. How a constituency is won or was won by that thin razor margin. Let's continue. We have the Paybush constituency, in my mind, was another blowout, so we can leave that alone. 1157 to 151. We can leave that alone. Petit Savant, we can leave that alone as well because another blow. 1243 to 268. Sam Raphael 268. Daru, the doctor, 1243 in 2009. Portsmouth, well, we know Portsmouth is always a blowout for the Labour Party, so we can leave that alone. 1,000 plus votes to no other candidate there even reach 100 votes. So we can skip that. Roseau Central, another very interesting set of statistics. The Dominica Labour Party under Alvin Bernard, 836 votes. To Brother Norris Prevot, 839 votes. Okay? So basically, Prevot edged out Alo in Roseau by just 3 votes. A mere 3 votes. Good. Let's move on. Roseau North. Roseau North, Labour Party, Julius Timothy Den, 1655. Daniel Lugue, Workers' Party, 1538. A difference of 117 votes in 2009. Let's move on, people, in the interest of time. Roseau South, in my estimation, was another blowout. Ambrose George, as they used to call him, T-Papa. He got over 2,000 votes. Bobby Frederick was next in line with 1,130. So we can leave that alone. Roseau Valley was, reasonably won with over 300 votes, with Mr. Colin McIntyre and Norris Charles was the rep for UWP. Salisbury in 2009. 817 votes to Sparks John and 512 votes to brother Rui, Julian Rui. Now, if you take out 817 from 512, Hector John won by at least 305 votes. Okay? So that is reasonably well. But it is no comforting position as well. These seats can be stolen easily by just the Labour Party perfecting their stealing legacy. The Salibia constituency, we can leave that alone. There was a difference of at least, 400 plus votes, so we can leave that alone. The St. Joseph constituency, again, was a good enough, win for the Labour Party. The Soufriere constituency was, reasonably taken. 300 votes thereabout, just like the Valley, the Roseau Valley. The Vekas constituency was, in my mind, a blowout. Roosevelt got over 1,000 votes, and the brother Maynard got 148. The last one of note now is the Wesley constituency that I want to show you guys before we head out of here. The Wesley constituency, Shillingford, that is Gloria Shillingford, got 809 votes, edged out Ezekiel Basil, 739, a mere 75 votes. Now, folks, let us wrap that up. If we go back, we total all the votes that the Dominica Labour Party won by in 2009. They won 5 seats, and that is the Castle seat by 155, the Lapland seat by 2 votes, the Mount John seat by 5 votes, the Roseau North seat by 117 votes, and the Wesley seat by 75 votes. If you take these 5 constituencies in total and you add up all their votes that the Labour Party say they won by, it adds up to a mere 354 votes in total. That's it. A mere 354 votes. If you now divide 354 votes by 5, you get a total of 70 votes per constituency. Now, these figures, people, they represent, in my mind, what Labour Party saw and could not allow to continue. You heard me right. That is what they saw and they could not allow to continue. And so they came up with that scheme now to plug into the system now our people, our Dominican people who live in overseas, to get them to contaminate the elections. And that must sink in for something. Because if Labour Party had to continue on that trajectory, the margin of a win would have been much too small for them to contend with, or much too marginal for them to contend with. And so there it is. That plan of stealing election was put in place. So in 2014, basically, we had the now emergence of that plot in action by Dominicans now coming from overseas in droves and packing up these constituencies. And these people have perfected that art so much that they are paying people now to do that kind of dirty work for them, to go into the trenches, go in the constituencies and find out how much votes are needed to overturn a constituency in their favor. And they are leaving nothing to chance. They are leaving nothing to chance. And from inside the belly of the beast, people, some people, people have consciences. Some people who were in that planning of that ploy, that plot, they keep telling me, Lofty, 300 votes is the base for when we sit down at our table. 300 votes. So if in a constituency, these people cannot see a win of 300 votes plus, they are not comfortable. And so they will do all what they have to do to plug in people there to make sure that it's 300 plus comes out at the end of the exercise. And you can take that to any bank and you'll get cash. And that is what we have been up against. So finally, all these sham consultations you see happening, that is just smokescreen activities. The bigger plot, the bigger ploy is at the back of the sham consultations or sham discussions. So, Dominicans, that is it for us in terms of the 2 hours. We passed a little, like 10 minutes past, but it was worth it nonetheless. And so tomorrow at 6 o'clock on the Civic Vibes program, we will be having, 2 discussions which may intertwine into one. But first up, we'll be hearing from a group in Dominica, a group of young men primarily. They call themselves the Moon Serious people. Because at the end of the day, what we are facing in Dominica, we have to prepare our people for what is ahead. And the Moonseer group is a group that has been going around preaching, talking, delivering. And so we'll be engaging them tomorrow to sort of have a gauge as to where they are at in the struggle. Their role that must be fulfilled in the struggle. So we'll be talking to 1, 2, 3, whatever it is, number of them tomorrow. And so I beseech your attendance tomorrow to hear from them directly. All right? And the second leg of our discussion we'll be having it with an attorney. That is none other than Brother Tiani Bihanzen. He will basically come and help us out, understand, especially the legal situations that surrounding our elections in Dominica. He'll point to some of those things. And so we'll be hearing from him tomorrow, that is Tiani, and he'll be talking about the state at which we are, and maybe, I say maybe, recommending some ways that we can get out of it, all right? So these discussions will be very informative, and I ask you guys to do whatever you have to do. Make the time so that 6 o'clock you can share from that table with us, all right? So on that note, Dominicans, I cannot take more of your time. I don't want to take more of your time. I'm not even leaving you with a number tonight, all right? So I just want to say thank you, and I just hope and pray that you guys, whatever is left of your evening, you will enjoy it, and you will get up tomorrow morning, that is, with a renewed vigor to continue on the struggle for your family, for your community, and your country by extension. All right? So on that note, Dominicans, thank you very much. See you tomorrow at 6 o'clock on the Civic Vibes platform. Bye-bye now. I love all of you guys. Take care.